All right, good morning. This is Nicole Whitlock with eComSellers, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them to get focused, get organized, get consistent in their business. And if that's you, I am here for you. You can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session, but we'll get into that in just a minute. So today's topic is setting goals in your e-commerce business. And we're going to talk about it from a generic standpoint. Tomorrow, we have the opportunity to do our weekly planning session. And in that, we're going to talk about the different types of goals that you might set in your business so that you can make progress, whether it comes to product research, keyword research, whether it comes to sourcing, or whatever it happens to be in your business, depending on your business model. We're going to take a deep dive in that. So hopefully you'll join us tomorrow in our weekly planning session. But today we're talking about 6 steps for setting goals in your business. But before we get into those 6 steps, I want you to know that we're live on Clubhouse. We're also live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. And inside the e-commerce planning Facebook group, if you want to download today's daily checklist, you can go to that e-commerce planning Facebook group, go to the files section and download the daily, weekly, and monthly checklist. They are generic in general, so they apply to any method of e-commerce and they also apply to any platform. So it's just based off of the activities that you need to do to stay active and engaged in your business to make progress in your business. So with that, I'm inviting you to go ahead and download those because we're going to go over the daily ecom planning checklist after we talk about the 6 steps to setting goals. So, 6 steps to setting goals. There are so many different types of goals that you can set. And again, we take a little bit of a deeper dive inside the weekly planning session. So, you do need to figure out what types of goals you want to set. But from a general overall standpoint, we're just going to talk about goals. So, the first thing when you're working on or beginning the process of setting goals, you got to define what the goal is. That's the first part of the journey. So, one of your goals might be this Q4. Maybe you have a goal to increase your sales by 10% over last year. Well, so in order for you to define that goal, you got to know what you made last Q4 in order to define what the 10% this Q4 will be. You might also go take a look at, what were the number of listings that you created? What were the platforms that you were selling on? What other methods did you run ads? Did you do promotions? Did you just pretty much, jump on top of existing products that you knew were already going to sell because of the season? What was your strategy last year? So, in order to define the goal, you got to know if this is your specific goal. You got to know what you did last year in order to define a goal for this year. If that's not your goal this year, maybe this year your goal is just to transition from, maybe you're doing Amazon FBA and you want to transition to a completely different fulfillment center. So then you got to define that goal of transitioning to a completely different fulfillment center and then begin the process. You're going to have to identify, probably do some research before you outsource, because you got to do some research on different fulfillment centers, where they are located, what are their prices, and some other stuff you got to look at. So you got to define the goal. Then after you define the goal, and I do want to invite you, like, you can define your goals directly inside of your My Ecom Planner. That's an easy place to put that stuff so that way you can stay on top of it and track it on a daily and weekly and monthly basis. The next is you want to set the deadlines. So if we're using the example of increasing your sales by 10% over Q4 last year, then your deadline in this example would be December 31st, or you could do like an incremental deadline, so that way you have a target for the end of October, target for the end of November, target for the end of December, so that way if you reach those goals, you'll ultimately overall reach the 10% that you're trying to increase over last year. That's one way to do it. If you're looking to outsource to a fulfillment center, then you got to set some deadlines. What's your deadline to do the research on the different fulfillment centers? And first, you got to have your list of questions you're going to ask them. But what's your deadline to contact? What's your number that you're going to start with? Maybe you're going to contact 3 or 4 3 or 4, even 10 different fulfillment center options. And then, when are you going to set some deadlines to narrow the list? And then when are you going to make the decision to transition? And again, I'm sure that you probably want to make the transition before you get into the heat of Q4. So Q4 is gradually ramping up, and you definitely don't want to mess that up in any kind of way. So you need to have a deadline. Then you need to define the steps to the actions that you need to take to achieve that goal. So what are those steps? Um, the steps that you need to take to achieve the goal. Well, as I talked before, I literally talked through some of the things. I gave you some options if you were trying to increase your sales over 10% over last year. It's like maybe break it up into incremental. Um, what you're going to do is maybe you're going to source differently, or maybe last year you were ordering in quantities of 1,000, and this year you're going to order in quantities of 1,100 or 1,200 on a specific product. So you got to have some incremental goals that are going to get you to the big goal. Same thing with outsourcing to a different fulfillment center, not using Amazon FBA. Again, you have to have some deadlines. You got to have a list. You got to figure out when are you going to start asking the questions, and what are the responses you're looking back or you're expecting? Like, what's your minimum or maximum that you're willing to pay in fees if you're going to outsource to a fulfillment center? So again, these types of things, you got to break down what it's going to take to achieve that goal in steps, incremental baby steps. You can tackle it many different ways, but you need to break it down. Then you need to prioritize those steps, prioritize what sequence that you need to execute those in. So again, if you create a checklist, that will help you to figure out, what do I need to do first, second, and third. And then you can go take from there, what is the next step I'm going to, the next goal that I need to achieve once I get that done, or what's the next step I'm going to take to completely accomplish this goal. Then you want to identify those obstacles that might get in your way. So if your goal is to increase your sales over 10% over last year, then what's going to stop you? Could it be a cash flow issue? Could it be you haven't done enough vetting of products or have an idea of the products that you want to sell? Maybe you're doing promotions last year and you got to figure out what type of ads you want to run this year. The platforms in which you run ads on, like, every single platform makes enhancements, changes, and modifications to that process. So maybe there's a sub step that you got to do before that, which is, hey, become refamiliarized with what are the things I need to do to run ads on this platform, or do campaigns or anything like that. So you need to figure that part out. And in addition to that, when we're talking about obstacles, like, what's going to stop you from transitioning to another, fulfillment center? What's going to get in your way? What's preventing you from being able to transition? Is it that you're looking for a fulfillment center that has a certain, the fees are a certain percentage? You're looking for a fulfillment center that has fast delivery times or whatever. Or you don't have the income yet. Like, sometimes cash flow is the issue. Sometimes the timeline, like, some fulfillment centers are going to say, look, you're really too close to Q4 and we're at capacity, so we can't take you on. So again, those types of things. What are the obstacles? What's your backup plan for that? And then last but not least is to execute that plan. So you broke it all down into sub steps, and now it is time for you to execute that plan. What's it going to take for you to achieve that goal? So if you break it down into bite-sized steps, things you can do incrementally on a daily basis, or things that you can do incrementally on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, you can break it down into 15 minutes every single day, so that you're taking little bitty baby steps every single day towards that goal. So I hope this information is helpful. I hope you use that to begin the process of moving your business forward this Q4 and making some decisions. I do invite you to join us on Saturday morning as we go through the weekly planning session and we start planning out our goals. Now, the weekly planning session is definitely over an hour session. So I want you to bring your notebooks for sure. And if you don't have a notebook, you can grab the My eComPlanner. So if you want to turn the dial up on your business, like, the 2022 eComPlanner is still available. You can grab the 2023 at the discounted price. You can get the 2023 eComPlanner at myecomplanner.com. So if you go to myecomplanner.com, you'll be able to get the 2023 eComPlanner. Let's all establish some really cool goals for 2023, and let's do everything we can to achieve those goals. And if you'd like to schedule a free 20-minute coaching session, you can go to eComSellers.com, click on free resources, and schedule your free 20-minute coaching session. Let's talk about your business. Let's talk about where you are, where you want to go, what you're doing. Let's talk through your entire business and your business strategy. We do invite you to join eComSellers Academy if you need some support on your e-commerce journey. So we're here to help you. You can go to eComSellersAcademy.com to join us. So it's terribly affordable. It's $17.99 a month, and you can pay for the lifetime and never pay again. You also get 10 free weekly RAOA leads lists, so you can go out and do some retail and online arbitrage. You also get 10 free wholesale supplier lists as well. Now, I encouraged you earlier to download that checklist. So this is the daily checklist. We're going to go through that here in a second. After we go through the daily checklist, I want to invite you, if you want to have a conversation or extend the conversation, if you need some help in your business, like you want to chat right now, if you've got questions, if you want your daily accountability check-in, hey, this is what I'm doing. Here's what the accomplishments I've made. This is what I want. I plan for the future for my business. You can join the conversation right now by going to Clubhouse. And once you go to Clubhouse, choose the eComSellers Club and join this actual session live right now. So go to Clubhouse right now, and I'll go ahead and pull out the daily ecom planning checklist, and we'll chat afterwards. All right. So the daily ecom planning checklist is generic enough that it applies to any method of e-commerce and any platform. So it's generic enough to help you to build, put together a plan or a strategy or approach or schedule to help you stay on track, help you to stay consistent and focused in your business. So there's two pieces to it. Technically there's three, but we're going to focus on the first two. So the first two is investing 15 minutes into your business before you go to bed at night, and investing 15 minutes in your business when you wake up in the morning. Those 15 minutes, though, you can narrow those down to 5 minutes and 5 minutes if you participate in the weekly planning session, because then you've already done some pre-work. So in this, the first 15 minutes that you're going to invest is right before you go to bed. We want you to review your schedule for the day. Go pull out that schedule that you wrote down, or maybe it's a checklist, maybe it's a plan or a strategy for the day. Go pull that schedule out and let's go through it. How did things go? Rate the day, review the day. How did it go? If you were you, would you rehire yourself for the work you did yesterday in your business? If the answer is no, then you probably want to see what you can do to improve your performance, your consistency, your productivity, all of that. So go and look at your schedule and just see what you accomplished for the day. Again, you're doing this before you go to bed. So, it's just right before you lay down. And we're not going to dwell on anything we didn't get done. We are going to celebrate the successes and the wins that we did get done. So that's a good thing. So don't dwell on the things you didn't get done. We also want to make sure that, if we need to, move some of those things over to tomorrow that you had on the agenda, or move those over to next week or next month. That may make more sense because of timing and other things. Next in the process is we're going to go and update our daily tracking stats. Inside the My eComPlanner is where you can update your daily tracking stats, things that are going to help move the needle in your business and also help you to stay consistent. If your daily tracking stats, updating your daily tracking stats, if you don't have a planner, then you can grab a notebook and just keep that notebook somewhere nearby on your desk where you work, or in a specific location, so you can pull it out every single day and update those stats. Flipping through that after 1 year is just going to amaze you. Your progress in your business from 1/1 to the end of the year, you're just going to be amazed at how much progress you made, just because you were focused on and committed to tracking your numbers. Knowing your data is going to help you make better decisions in the future. So always update your tracking stats. The next thing is going through your online calendars, whether it's your online personal calendar, your online business calendar, your online work calendar. Go through those calendars so you know what's on the agenda for tomorrow, so that you're not caught off guard when you wake up in the morning. You go, oh crap, I had a meeting, or oh, I forgot that I had a doctor's appointment, or oh my gosh, I forgot I was supposed to drop off the kids at band practice. Like all of those things that are on your online calendar. That is so important, because what happens is we just get caught up sometimes when we feel a little unorganized. And I will tell you, I confess, after getting COVID, like my ability to think clearly is like changed, because I felt like I'm not always as clear as I used to be. So I have moments. So yes, I do. I've started taking some supplements. There's a couple of different supplements that I take to try and help me with my mental sharpness because I feel like some things have changed after I got COVID. So again, do what you need to do, and of course, consult a medical professional if you need to, if that applies to you. But get organized, get consistent, be aware of what's about to happen, um, instead of you reacting to, oh, I got to do this today. Then the next thing, and here's the other thing, when you do that, it allows you the opportunity to hopefully stay on schedule or accomplish the things that you wanted to get done for the day versus reacting to the day and the entire day is shot and you don't make any progress whatsoever. That's why we look at the online calendar. So the next is to actually build out a template for your schedule. If you built one earlier in the morning, then you can just go back and edit it and fix it, clean it up or whatever. You can rewrite the goals if it makes sense to do so. And if not, don't worry about it. But the thing that you're working on is making sure that you have dedicated time blocks or dedicated time for things that are important to you. If one of the things that you do is, I'll use an example of Wednesday nights, like going to Bible study, that's a big deal. So I don't allow anything to bleed into that time. I don't schedule any time to work. I don't source during that window. I don't do anything that's going to impact my ability to be able to go do that because that is reserved, dedicated, sacred time. So you probably have some sacred time pockets in your day, and you want to make a note of those because you're going to schedule other aspects of your life and your business around those sacred pockets. Now, I do encourage you to create a sacred time block or sacred time pocket for your business. What is your schedule going to be? Having a schedule where it's random every other day, where, okay, Mondays I work from, I don't know, 10 to 11, and then Tuesdays I work from 1 to 2, and Thursdays I work from, 5 until 9, and Fridays I work from 8 until 6. Like, that's a very random schedule. Anytime you have the opportunity to create some uniformity, that will make it a whole lot easier to be able to execute that schedule successfully. So try to see if you can find the same time every single day so you can have a little more consistency in your life and a little less randomness. So those are the 4 things you're doing before you go to bed. Again, you can collapse that down to 5 minutes, or it can be the full 15 minutes. The next thing is in the morning, we're going to go through and we are going to review our schedule that we built, that we executed yesterday. We want to make sure we didn't miss anything. We didn't drop the ball. If we are missing anything, because again, you're doing this right before you go to bed, it may have been an exhausting day. So if it was, you're probably tired. So if you do this, when you wake up in the morning, you're reset, you're refreshed, and it gives you an opportunity to think a little clearer. So go through and review the schedule. And then once you review the schedule that you have for yesterday, fill in any missing holes or things that you forgot, which you will find over time when you do this consistently. And let's say you do it consistently for 60 days, you're probably going to find a pattern or some things that you probably were not really aware of. Like maybe every Monday you contact your wholesale suppliers, but you never paid attention to that before until the pattern revealed itself. So again, going back and reassessing your schedule, writing down every little thing that you do, no matter what, so that way you can build a better schedule in the future for each day of the week. So there's some things that you may be doing each day of the week that are specific to how you run your business. And also, there might be some things that are specific to how you run your life. Building a schedule that incorporates or areas or aspects of your life is extremely important because then you're making time for all the things that are important to you, whether it's time with your kids, whether it's going out to exercise, whether it's going out to lunch, whether it's following up on your parents that maybe are in a nursing home, like whatever it happens to be, making sure that you have dedicated time to address the things that you feel like are important in your life is good. So build a more inclusive schedule and not just a schedule that's focused on what you do in your business. Now, you do want to break down what you do when you're working your business. So if you work your business every single day from, let's say, I don't know, the 8 a.m. until 11 a.m., what are you doing in that window of 8 a.m. to 11 a.m.? What are the specific things that you do? Do you break down each day differently? And we're going to talk about that in the weekly planning session. So That's why we go back and we reassess the day before and we fill in any holes. The next thing is that step 2 is that we're going to go through and review the weekly priorities and the weekly habits. Today is Friday. So what were your goals for this week? Now, this is the last best business day of the week. So you still have Saturday, and that's still part of the week. So what were the things that you had on the agenda to get done this week? You still have time to get them done. Also, what are the habits that you're working to build? So maybe you had a habit of, I don't know, drinking 64 ounces of water every single day, or maybe going for, a 20-minute jog every single day. So did you accomplish that? If it's a habit that you're either working to rebuild or just to establish for the first time. Another one might be creating 20 listings a day, or creating 50 listings a day, or using your listing software to cross post your listings on the other platforms. Like, I don't know what your habits were that you're working to build, but you want to see where you are in the journey. And if you've fallen off the tracks, you want to get your train back onto the tracks. So that's always the goal. That increases your awareness just by going through and looking at your weekly habits on a regular basis. Then you want to look at your plan for the month. This is the first full week of October. So what was on the agenda for the first full week of October? What were the things that you had that you needed to get done? Maybe you were doing accounting and reconciliation that first full week. Maybe the second week you're planning on doing a boatload of product research. Maybe the third full week is maybe you're going to focus on sourcing. Like, what is your strategy? What's your approach? And these are things that you do during the monthly planning session, so that way you can build out a calendar for each week, and then you can break down the activities you're going to do, just like we did earlier with the goal setting exercise. Like, you're going to break down everything so it's in bite-sized pieces, so it's not so overwhelming. Tackling something 15 minutes every single day is less daunting than, or 30 minutes, either one, than, looking at it and going, there's no way I'm going to get all this stuff done all week. Like, let's not focus on the entire week. Let's focus on the bite-sized pieces. And that's why we do the daily planning. And that's also why we break down goals. Step 4 is to rewrite your plan for the day, if it makes sense. Like, you're going to pull out what your plan was. You wrote it out last night. So this morning, you're going to pull it out. You're going to read it. See if it makes sense. Do I need to make any adjustments? If I'm good, let's move forward into the day. Let's speak it into existence and let's go after it. If I'm not good, let's make the adjustments and then let's go back and reread it and then let's speak it into existence. Let's get the day going. And then make sure that you're identifying the one main thing. So if nothing goes right, that one thing gets done no matter what. And step 5 is to write down a draft of your schedule for tomorrow. So since it's Friday, I would encourage you to write out a draft of your schedule for Saturday, Sunday, and also Monday. Your call if you want to do all 3 days. So it's going to require you to spend just a little bit more time, but that gets you kick-started so that you're ready to go for the next couple of days and gives you a plan for the weekend. The last thing is I want you to increase your awareness of things that could be disruptions or interruptions to your business. Anything that's going to interrupt your ability to sustain momentum in your business. You're working to build some consistency. You're working to execute every single day, as often and as frequently as possible. Having a successful execution is so important. So it helps you when you feel like you're making progress, then you're more motivated to continue doing the work. And when you don't feel like you're making progress, then you're less motivated and excuses creep in, and any little excuse will be a good reason not to do something today. So your goal is to identify those things that may break the pattern of consistency, break your routine up. If you think about people with New Year's resolutions, like when that first time that they missed the gym, and then the second time they missed the gym, or the first time they missed meal prepping, and then the second time they missed meal prepping. Well, now it's just more of an opportunity to continue to just not do it. It's too hard. It's too labor intensive. I'm too exhausted, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the reasons are, now the excuses become valid and you validate them. Well, you're trying to build momentum in your business. You're working to build consistency. You have some goals that you're working to accomplish. So don't allow those little things that will disrupt or interrupt your routine stop you from making progress in your business, take you off your tracks. So Identify those things that are coming up that are known. We're not talking about emergencies where your child breaks their wrist or breaks their ankle or something else happens. The dog has to go to the vet because they're sick, whatever it happens to be. We're not talking about true emergencies. We're talking about things that are known, that are coming up, that are going to cause you to make adjustments to your routine that you're building. Let's plan for that. Let's not be surprised by it. Let's not be caught off guard by it. So I hope this information is helpful. I hope that you use this to make some really great, amazing decisions in your business. I'm praying that you have a successful, profitable, highly focused, and consistent day today. So, again, my name is Nicole Whitlock, and this is the daily ecom planning session. My focus is my passion is helping people to get focused, get consistent, and stay motivated in their business. And if that's you, I'm here for you. Again, you can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session anytime you like. And if you want to join the conversation, we're over on Clubhouse. So you can join that club right now if you didn't do that earlier, so we can talk about where you are and your business. And with that, we'll say goodbye for now.